India and Brazil in the presence of PM Narendra Modi and Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva at Hyderabad House. PM Modi highlighted the mutual trust and shared purpose between the two nations, emphasizing that their partnership is crucial for the global south. Speaking at the event, President Lula expressed his joy at returning to India for the sixth time, calling the meeting of superlative. He highlighted the unique relationship between the two nations, describing them not only as the two biggest democracies of the global south, but also as a digital superpower and a renewable energy superpower. Lula also condemned the terror attack in J&K and said that terrorism not seem as public security issues. I have joining me now on the broadcast Ambassador Sushil Singhal, who is a former diplomat. Ambassador Singhal, I want to begin by asking you, now, how significant is this partnership at a time of shifting global power dynamics?
Sure. The thing is that, this partnership between India and Brazil is long-standing. And, we have a strategic partnership since 2006. And as you rightly said, that, the global dynamics is shifting all the time. And India and Brazil, they have shown the relationship, the way it is going. They are prominent voice in BRICS as well as G20. And, when they spoke, they also talk about the reformed multilateralism and a balanced global order. So they are the, saner voice which wants that the multilateral order, the way it is being disrupted, should not be, and they want to reform it and, of course, keep it balanced. Today, this conversation which they have taken place, which you were just mentioning, they have talked about, because we all know about the critical minerals and rare earth, how critical they have become because of the, disruptions in the supply chain by some countries because they monopolize. So what they are doing is they are trying to secure the supply chain for the minerals, and which will not only beneficial to the country, but I think for the global supply chains also is going to be very critical. Then they have also talked about the digital public infrastructure. Because India is now, we all know that is a leading country in this field, and we are, I think Prime Minister has announced setting up a center of excellence of TPI in Brazil, which will help them in digital transformation. And also they talked about this telecom and digital partnership, which is very important for the 6G technology, cyber security, and in quantum communication again is very important. And India has been looking for partners for the aerospace manufacturing. Now they are talking about the Brazilian firm Embraer. They also want to start even co-production in India, which I think is beneficial to both the countries. So when we see of course the global biofuel allowance, again the green technology, in which the Brazil is a leading voice, a leading country, and now they are going to partnership in that, so it will be beneficial to both the countries. So when we look at the relationship, again I'll say that just to sum up, this relationship is very important, particularly in the present time, because they are committed for the assistance or to become a voice of the global south, and both are prominent in G20 and BRICS. So they coordinate their positions also. So I think this is a very good, visit, and I think results are also, we all can see that.
Ambassador Singhal, now do you think India's digital public infrastructure model could become a template for global south countries with Brazil's backing?
Certainly, because not only this is the beauty of this digital public infrastructure, because India, and very, very, very interestingly, what India has done, we have not patented. What we are doing, we're sharing the technology. So this is helping to increase the footprint of this digital public infrastructure, not only India, but in other countries. Even in France we have done that, and about I think the 8 countries already have adopted. And with the Brazil coming on board, I think this is going to be a message for the countries in Latin America, because if they have a center in Brazil, it will be easier for them to the countries in Latin America and Caribbean to access the technology from there. And India is already working in Europe and also in Africa. So I think to answer your question shortly, I think is going to be very important for the spread of the digital public infrastructure around the world.
I also have Mr. Sanjeev Srivastav. He's a foreign affairs expert joining me. Mr. Srivastav, I also want to ask you the same question now. How significant is this partnership at a time of shifting global power dynamics?
I think India-Brazil strategic partnership is of enormous significance. Both the nations are part of BRICS and IPSA, India, Brazil, South Africa, and obviously G20, G4 like grouping. Both the nations are a part. And at a time when this world is moving towards becoming a multi-polar world, and a new world order is being established, this growing partnership between India and Brazil is of enormous significance. And both the nations, India and Brazil, they realize that they have to provide a leadership role in this.
All right. We seem to have a problem with Mr. Srivastav's audio there. But I want to go back now to, of course, Ambassador Sushil Singhal. Now, Ambassador Singhal, I also want to ask you that, how does this evolving India-Brazil dynamic impact China's influence within BRICS and the broader global south?
Let me talk about the BRICS. Of course, the BRICS is, China is a dominant economy. We have to accept that. But when India and Brazil and the like-minded country partner in BRICS, so that helps in bringing the voice of the global south into the whole relationship of the BRICS, and also keep it balanced, because sometimes, as we know, the China and US are at loggerhead on various issues. So they try to use BRICS for their purposes. And when countries like India and Brazil come together, they keep it balanced, because as we all know that India is all the time keen to have good relations with all the countries, and we also always believe in the strategic autonomy. So it's very helpful in that. And when it comes to the leadership at Global South, as we know, for last few years, and particularly after G20, when India brought the concerns of the Global South in the framing and the working of the G20, and it became part of the important part of the declaration, which was joint declaration which was issued, and also our
Ambassador Singhal, pardon me, but I'll have to interrupt you. We're very short on time. But joining me now is Major General Shashi Asthana, defense expert. Major General Asthana, I want to ask you that, in a world which is increasingly divided by geopolitical blocs, where does this India-Brazil partnership really stand?
India-Brazil partnership has got a very unique, shall I say, relationship between the two countries, for the simple reason that despite being one is part of BRICS, is one part of it, but then in a global competition where USA and China are competitors, we are the developing countries who want to pursue their development goal and yet not confront any of the superpowers or major powers and waste energy there. So therefore, both these countries have got a lot in common, whether it is in terms of energy, biofuel. Both have similar size. Both are aspirants of being part of UNSC. Both are. Brazil happens to be the largest country in South America, and India and China are the large countries in Asia. So there is a lot in common. Both are part of Global South. Both have ambition to develop, but at the same time, both don't want to be a part of any competition. So considering that, I think there is a lot. Our problems are common. Our aspirations are common. And in addition to that, I think with the kind of relationship with United States propagated in last 1 year, I think both the countries were on fire line from United States. But I think we both have pulled out and have managed to follow our strategic autonomy, yet pull out the best deals for each other. So I think there is a lot in common and there's a lot of grounds to cover. I'm very sure that with India's leadership of BRICS, there is a lot which we can do in terms of the digital payment systems, and perhaps that may simplify the payment system and too much of dependence on SWIFT and dollars. I think that is a major thing which India should be looking at when we carry on with the presidency of BRICS in this year. Back to you.
Major General Shashi Asthana, thank you so much for joining me on the